Hey Domingo, so here's sort of a longer explain video for your 89 sabers. So this is a one button, just right here. Okay, and then this is on the metric. So all of your screws are going to be metric screws. So these right here, these chassis retention screws, those are going to be M2s. So this is I'm using my metric, and this is the two hex key right here. That's what will open that up. Okay. And then as far as the retention screw up top here, that is a 1.5. So that's a smaller one. Okay. Now I put a fairly small screw in there just because it doesn't need to be that large. You've got a little bit better than average blade insertion depth in here. You've got about a little bit more than an inch. And then the screw is actually placed right at the very top, which is what you want. So, you know, you're going to get good balance on the blade retention there. The screws for the shrouds are also M2s. The screws here for these shrouds are the same as these guys right here. Okay. So if you don't have one of these, I would recommend picking one of these up from Amazon. I can send you a link to the ones that I got. I got one. These were like $8 each. This one's metric, and then this one is a standard American. That does the fractions, like 1/4, 832, whatnot. So these have been a blessing. Anyway, so let's crack open your saber real quick and show you how it operates. So this is your battery right here. It's your 18650 battery. Your speakers right here. And then here, this is sort of a casing that my installer sort of attached onto the end of the chassis. And then what he did was he strung up in a circle here. You can see the wire coming out here, but then what he did is he strung up some LEDs right here at the base, so that when you have your pommel on, you've got that lighting effect at the base of the pommel. So that was neat. Now the battery, this is actually one of the few chassis where I can just pull the battery out with my finger. Most of them I have to use like a tool to get the battery out. It's in there pretty snug. The battery sits really well in there. It's a tight fit, which is what you want. But because of the way that the chassis is designed, you can actually reach in there with your finger and pull it out. And so your micro USB port for your board is right there. Okay. Now what I'm going to send you along with the saber hilt and the blade is I'm going to send you this cable. This has a USB-C on one end, some micro USB on the other, and it has an L-shaped attachment for getting in those sort of hard to reach places on sabers. These you can generally find at I found a set of these at what is it, a drone parts shop online. It's called iFlight, I think. Anyway, turns out they work really well for sabers too. So I'm going to leave this on this cable, and I'm just going to send you this full cable because I'm not sure if you already have one, but if you don't, you should. So this is coming along with you. This end goes into the computer when you want to do a config update or whatever. And then this L shape here, you just put it right in here. It'll connect right in there. And that's how you can plug your board into your computer, okay? Now, if you need to access, now the SD card is right there, but it might be a little tricky to get to it from here. So if you need to access your SD card, you just take the shell off here. One retention screw, two retention screw. You don't need to pull the retention screws all the way out, just loosen them up. Okay. Then this piece comes out. Now there is still wiring at the end of this that goes up to the pins up here, okay? So it is wired and it stops right about here. So you don't want to pull it out any farther than that, okay? And see if I can. Now there is an additional retention screw right there. Okay, so you take that out. This will slide. Okay, and then you can slide it back, access your SD card. When you're done, slide it back in. Put the retention screw back in. Hope I'm trying to get all this on camera. Okay. So then that will lock in place. So make sure this is fully open. Oh. Yeah, you have to get that retention screw all the way in. If there's a little bit flush, it will keep this thing from going in. So, okay. So once you got that one screwed in, okay. So now you've got the chassis back locked in. Spring side negative. Okay. Okay. Excuse me. Now let's this is kind of you. I'll put this over here. Now let's talk about the blade. So currently I have 3 different blades, all roughly the same size. These are, you can see one is a little bit shorter. One is about an inch shorter than the other two. So these are 236, I believe these are 236 inches and then 135 inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these three out and I'm going to test each one on this hilt. And whichever is the cleanest blade of the three, in other words, the least amount of shadowing, you know, the least amount of ribboning, whatever, the cleanest of these three blades is the one I'm going to send you, okay? And I'll make sure that, you know, that there's going to be some scuffs on the outsides of them. Some of these blades have had, you know, very light to moderate contact with things over the months. But they're all in really good shape. They all work just fine. You're going to see some natural discoloring at the base of these. And that's predominantly because when I get these, I always sand like the bottom 2 to 3 inches of the blades. I always sand them down, especially with 89 sabers, which can be, are sort of notorious for having emitters that are a little tight. Fitting a heavy grade NeoPixel blade in these, you're almost always going to have to sand them. So all three of these have had their bases sanded. And so it's just a matter of finding the one that's in the best condition with respect to shadowing and that sort of thing. So whichever one looks the nicest, that's the one I'm going to ship out to you. But let me just demo for you now. Just one blade as an example. Let's turn the overhead light off. So this is your blade retention screw right here. And that is a smaller blade retention screw size. That is a metric 1.5 up here. Loosen that one up a little bit. Oh, this one might be a little tight. This one may not go in. I know one of these does because I use it normally. This one goes in. Okay. There we go. Tighten it back down. I'll also send you a little baggie of some extra retention screws because these are pretty small. So if you lose it, well, I'll just send some backups to you. I'll send you like an extra 4 or 5 of them. So this is going to be the size of the blade, so you have an idea for what it looks like. Okay. So that's pretty much it for this. So I'll say a couple of other things about the config. So this config is the Kyberphonic Survivor Pack. So I did all the blade styles myself. Actually, what I'll do, since I have a moment, I'll just run through the different blade styles for you that are on the saber so you can see which ones they are, you know, all of the different colors that come in that Survivor pack. So that's the Jedi Fallen Order Survivor Pack from Kyberphonic. It's like the $60 font pack. So this is blue. Sky blue. And the accent LEDs at the pommel will match the blade color. I've done that in the config. It's green, so you can see the pommel color coming up. you'll know what color it is. This is going to be indigo, I think. Yeah. Okay. This is orange. This is purple. Or violet, however you want to. This is red. This is gold or yellow. And then that's it for the list. And it goes back to the top for blue. So it's got that power level indicator. And on one button, you can just hold this down and it'll go to the previous one.
Battery power level.
And so that battery indicator will tell you that your battery's on a pretty much a full charge. I just pulled it off the charging dock like not 10 minutes before I started doing this video. So you got a nicely full charge battery. Okay, so that's what's on your config. And those accent LEDs are also part of the style codes on that config. So if you ever decide that you're going to change the config for any reason, make sure you account for the accent LEDs at the base of the hilt if you want them to light up. Okay, so you can just take the template style code that I use on this config if you're not sure how to do it. Or you can always ask me if you want to do your own style code for your own set of accent LEDs. Just let me know. Sorry, this is coming out of focus. So that's pretty much it for the operation of the saber. This is a standard one button. The config is SA22C props file. That's what it's compiled under on ProfiOS 5.9. It's got two gesture controls on there. It's got the twist off and swing on. Those are the only two I've turned on. So it's got swing on and twist off. Those are the two I generally like to use. If I use any more than that, I generally find that while I'm tinkering with the saber, the thing just turns on way too much when I don't want it to. That's how it's going to come to you set up. And then the other thing I wanted to let you know about this is that this does have a sleep timer. So whenever you're done using the saber and you put it on the shelf or whatever, this light will keep going for a little while longer, for like 2 or 3 more minutes after you turn the saber off, and then it will go to sleep. So there is a sleep timer on the config. And if you ever want to change that where you want it to go for a little longer, you can always change that value on the config file, but that will require that you reflash your board. Okay, so I think that covers pretty much all of it. So the only thing left for me to do tonight is, as I said before, I'm going to go out and test those blades and try and get the cleanest one that I have for you that are in that size, and then that's the one I'll be sending along with the saber. All right, so thanks again for your business. I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and you can DM me on Facebook or you can always email me at lycos@gmail.com. Basically, that PayPal account that you sent payment to, that's also my main email address. So you can always email me if you have longer, more involved questions that you may not want to send via chat. Either way is fine. All right, man. Take care, and it was good to meet you. And yeah, man. Take care. Talk to you soon.